Hello, welcome to YouTube channel Obed Krampa. My name is Obed Krampa and today I'll be teaching web development. I'm continuing with the series web development. Today I'll be teaching JavaScript. Okay, to understand JavaScript you have to learn our previous episode. I'm teaching the foundation of JavaScript. Okay, and JavaScript is a limited featured programming language. It's limited because it's not an object-oriented programming language, even though it's a programming language. Object-oriented programming languages are Java, PHP, ASP, yes, Python, which I'll be teaching on this platform. Okay, so we are doing web development. This series is about web development. Okay, and what is the difference between web development and web design? The difference between web development and web design is like developing a car and designing a car. Okay, developing a car, you build a car. Designing a car, after the car is built, then you design the seats, the color of the car and everything. Okay, so if you want to also learn how to design a website, I will teach you how to design a website on this platform. But after we are done with how to develop a website, okay, designing a website, you will use content management systems like Wix.com, WordPress, Joomla, which does not involve coding. You can design a website, but if you want your website to have more functionalities, that is, you want your website to act like Facebook, Amazon, you want your website to accept data input and everything, you want to have access to your own website. Okay, you don't want your website to be owned by a third-party system. Okay, that is when you develop your own website. Okay, which I'll be teaching you on this platform. And we have started with the foundation of web development. Today I'm going to teach you JavaScript. JavaScript is used to create a dynamic web pages. What I mean by dynamic web pages is that a dynamic web pages is a web page that interacts with the user. Okay, so if you go on Facebook, the design of Facebook, the front page of Facebook is created with JavaScript, which I'll be teaching you here. Okay, and we are in the world of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence was powered to track the location of Osama bin Laden. Artificial intelligence is in our world today will replace a lot of work like medical, healthcare, finance. Artificial intelligence is a human embedded code on a robot so that the robot will act just like humans. And artificial intelligence is becoming more powerful. Okay, yes, so let's start with JavaScript. What is JavaScript? I have explained to you, and the topics under JavaScript which I'll be teaching let me list the topics I'll be teaching. So I'll minimize the screen and list the topics. All right, cool. Let me be here. Okay, let's start rolling. Let me open my notepad. All right, some of the topics I'll be teaching in JavaScript include one. All right, number one, the dot syntax. I'll be teaching all the topics in JavaScript, but for today the topics we'll be doing is one. Then we go to condition statement. No, let's start with operators, variables and expressions. Then I go to 3, condition statements or conditional statements. Oh my goodness, am I getting this? Condition statements. Then we go to 4. I'll be teaching arrays. I'll be teaching functions. All right, I'll be teaching strings. All right, good. I'll be teaching strings. All right, yeah, I'll be teaching. So go and Google all the topics in JavaScript. We'll be doing them according to, in order, one topic at a time. So today let's start with the dot syntax. We are going to make use of a variable. What is a variable? A variable is a placeholder. A placeholder that is set to hold a data and can be changed in the execution of a program. Simple. You can Google what is a variable. Yes, so let's start with Java. Let's start with our first program that we will be doing on JavaScript. All right, let's start with our first program. Right. So in the previous episode, I told you how HTML format looks like. In JavaScript, when you want to inform the browser that you are using JavaScript, you have to use the scripting tag, and this is the scripting tag. This tag, the tag that has been highlighted here, is a scripting tag. So we are going to put our code here in between the script tag, and I'm using Notepad++. So go and download Notepad++. All right, so let's start with the dot syntax. I'll make use of a variable, then I'll also make use of conditional expressions. Okay, so I am doing the practical for you. Just go and Google the topics in JavaScript, and any example, that every topic that you Google, you read about the topic, then you come and do the practical here. Are we cool with that? Good. So let's start. Let me start coding. Okay, all right. All right, let me start coding. A is equal to 5. Then let me see. I will explain the code I'm writing. Okay, let me be done. Let me complete what I'm doing. B is equal to 4. All right, then what should I use? Okay, so var is equal to C. var C is equal to A plus B. All right, then I'll go to document. Let me print it on the screen. All right, but I will explain the meaning of what I'm doing. Dot write C. Yeah, so what exactly have I done here? I'm showing you how to start writing coding with JavaScript, and what I have done here is a declaration of a variable. Okay, remember I said a variable is a placeholder that is set aside to hold the data. So this variable here is holding the data of 5. To code in JavaScript has keywords, 25 keywords, and reserved words. All right, JavaScript has 25 keywords. So to be able to understand JavaScript, you have to go and learn about the keywords in JavaScript. Okay, so these keywords, I don't have data. I would have teach you the theory. I don't have data. My data is not working. I would have taught you the theory. All right, so okay, go and search about keywords in Java. Keywords in JavaScript. Keywords in JavaScript. All right, and keywords and reserved words in JavaScript. Okay, yes, these keywords are used to write a JavaScript code. All right, so let's start rolling. Let's save. Let me explain this code. We save it, then we run it. We are trying to print the value of C here on the screen. We are trying to tell this program JavaScript to give us the value of C. Okay, so what have we done here? Var is a keyword that is used to declare a variable. Var here is a keyword. Var here is a keyword. that is used to declare a variable. So a now becomes the variable. A is equal to 5. So when you declare a variable, you initialize it. Initializing a variable means that you are giving the variable a value. Okay, you are giving, so we have given a the value of 5. Then we have declared another variable here, b. We have given it the value of 4. Then we say var c. C is equal to, c is also a variable. C is going to hold the value of a and b. That is why we say c is equal to a and b. So anytime you see this var c is equal to a and b, you see an information on the left and right hand side of the equal to sign. Okay, it means that the value on the right hand side of the equal to sign is equal to the value on the left hand side of the equal to sign. Okay, that's right. You will not find this in any textbook. I'm just giving you a clue, something that I figured out. Okay, so we are trying to tell the screen, this program, to print the value of c. Yes, document.write is an object method. It's a built-in function, built-in program that JavaScript uses to print an information on the internet. So I'm going to use this document.write to print an information on the internet for you to see. So let's save our work. Then let's go to run it in Chrome. We are trying to tell this program to give us that what is the value of a plus b. A here is 5, a here is 5, and b here is 4. So 5 plus, so var c. So document.write will print the value of c here. Have you seen it here? So a is 4, a is 5, sorry, and b is 4. So what will be the value of 5 plus 4? Then that is why we have put c inside the parenthesis. This is a document. The document here is an object, and the right here is a method. Because of the parenthesis, the opening and closing bracket is called parenthesis. It gives us a clue that the right there is a method. Just flow with me. As we get along, you will understand it. Okay, all right. So let's run this program in our Google Chrome. We can see 9 here. All right, because we said 5 plus 4 is 9. So now let's add something to this coding. Okay, let's add something. I have already told you that JavaScript can be used to write an artificial intelligence. Okay, as we get along, as you get along and you understand JavaScript, you can use JavaScript to write your own artificial intelligence for your room, for your daily routine and all that. Okay, so now let's give this code some dynamics. Let's program it to look more attractive and functional on our web page. So what do? We are going to use something called a condition statement. Okay, just go and Google the topics of JavaScript. I'm giving you the practical, so go and Google the topics in JavaScript. What I'm doing here, the topic I'm going to use now is conditional statement. So our screen has given us the value of c. That c is 9 because 5 plus 4 is 9. So now let's do something. I'm going to use conditional statement. If, then we open the bracket. If c is equal to 9, then what do? We are using conditional statement. If c is equal to 9, yes, use this alert. True. Else alert false. Exactly. Else alert. All right, JavaScript uses conditional statement, and this conditional statement is similar to how we use the English language. If c is equal to 5, I have used an operator here, an assignment sign here. The equal to I will explain to you as we go along, as we get along, but I'm trying to explain to you how to use conditional statement in JavaScript. Okay, I'm trying to add something to what we printed on the screen. Here I've added something as if c is equal to 9, alert true, else else alert false. So if 5 plus 4 is equal to 9, the screen will print for us. The screen will tell us that, will not tell us that 9, but the screen will tell us that it's true. All right. The alert here I have used is a function. This function is a built-in program in JavaScript. Those who created the JavaScript program has embedded this alert function. Those who created the JavaScript program has embedded this alert function in JavaScript, that anytime you want something to pop up on your screen, you use the alert function. So sometimes when you go to a web page, then you see that something will pop up. Do you like cookies? This website uses cookies. We use this alert function to do that. Okay, so now let's save the code and let's run it and see what it says. From there we move to another program which I'll be teaching. We run our code. Yes, we run our code in our web Chrome and it comes as true. This page says true. All right, what I use here, let's run it. What I use here is a dialog box. I have told you that the alert function that I am using is a built-in JavaScript program. Those who created the JavaScript program has embedded that alert function. So anytime you want to use a dialog box, this is a dialog box. What has popped up on our screen is a dialog box. Anytime you want to use a dialog box on your screen for your screen to print something, you use the alert function. It is in JavaScript. So what you want to do now as a student is to go and Google for all the functions in JavaScript, so that when I use it practically here, you understand it. Okay, we are learning JavaScript. Don't get confused. This is just the beginning. You see that when we click OK, it has come as 9 because 4 plus 5 is 9. All right, so this is our program. If C is equal to, so you can save this program. You can go all over, pause the video and read it. Now we will add more functionalities to our JavaScript. Let's wipe this off, and the next thing we are going to learn is what should we learn next? My screen, my camera. What should we learn next? All right, I'll teach you something. Now let's modify the conditional statement. Okay, let's modify the conditional statements. All right, you modify the conditional statement, but before then let's do something as operators. The next topic I'm going to do is operators in JavaScript, and I'm going to teach you arithmetic operators. Okay, good. All right. I'm going to teach you arithmetic operators. All right, so the same arithmetic operators that you use in your you know in your mathematical book. Okay, mathematical syllabus. Arithmetic operators are the plus, then we have the minus, then we have the division sign, then we have what the percentage sign, then we have what the increment sign. This plus tells us that when we are writing a program, it means that it should increase by 1. When you use this sign, increase by 1. When you use this sign in your program, it means that your program should increase by 1. Then we go to the minus. This one also tells us that our program should decrease by 1. So all these are what? Arithmetic operators. So we are going to do an example of arithmetic operators. All right, so let's get started. All right, to use any data in your program, you need to declare a variable, and I have told you that when you declare a variable, you initialize it. Initializing a variable means that you are giving the variable a value. Okay, all right, so that is what we are going to do now. So now what should we do? Let's declare a variable called var. Let's declare a variable called a. then a, let's give a, let's use the same 5. all right, then let's declare, no, let's use the increment sign. I have taught you the arithmetic operators. You know how to use plus and minus, so let's use the increment sign. I'm going to teach you how to use it. Okay, let's do something like this. Then let's go to alert. I have told you the function of the meaning of alert. We are going to tell alert that alert should print the value of a is all right. You don't understand what I have done here. I have explained alert to you, and it's a built-in function that helps our a pop-up, a box to pop up on our web page. So what have I done here? I'm showing you how to use the increment sign, the plus. You see, 5 here, a here is equal to 5. When you declare a variable, you initialize it. It means initializing a variable means you are giving the variable a value. Okay, can you see? Wow, hope I made full screen so you can see. Okay, I'm using the increment sign to explain it to you. Initializing a variable means you are giving it a value. The var here is a keyword. I have told you that keywords are used to write our program in JavaScript. So go and Google all the keywords in JavaScript. Var here is a keyword. A here is a variable. If you want to declare a variable, you use the keyword var. And when you declare a variable, var is equal to a means you have declared a variable. When you declare a variable, you initialize it. Initializing a variable means that you are giving the variable a value. That is what we have done here. We have given the variable a valuable of 5. And we have used the increment sign. The increment sign means increase by 1. That means a here is going to increment by 1, which will give us the answer as 6. So a pop-up will come on our screen and tell you that the value of a is 6. Okay, so let's save this program and run it. When we clean the plus sign here, the plus sign is adding, is concatenating our words. The value of a is, it is adding our words to a. Do you understand it? The value of a is in quotation mark because it is a comment. The comment will pop up on our screen on the alert box. Okay, so the a here, the plus sign here, the function of the plus sign here is that it is adding the value of a is plus a. It means a here should give us the answer for the increment because a here is a variable and it has the value of 5, but we have used an increment sign to increase a here, so a will increase by 1, meaning a will give us 6. Okay, all right, so let's save it and run it. Launch in Chrome. All right, okay, the value of a is 6. We didn't put space here. All right, good. Let's cancel it. Then let's do another example, or let's move to another topic. I want us to get to the middle stage of JavaScript where we'll be doing more coding. Okay, where we'll be doing more coding. All right, so my camera is looking some way. All right, so the next thing I'm going to teach is all right, the next thing I'm going to teach is logical operators. Okay, logical operators. I'll open Notepad, then I'll put down examples of logical operators, and I'll tell you what they actually mean. Okay, then we will do an example using logical operators. Okay, all right, so let's go. All right, let's go. Logical operators. We are doing logical operators. Okay, we are doing logical operators. We have done arithmetic operators. That's what I taught you. Now we are doing logical operators. If I put out a topic and you don't understand, it's all in the syllabus of JavaScript. So just go and Google all the topics in JavaScript, so that when I do any topic here, you will understand it. Okay, so now let's do logical operators. Logical operators. Examples of logical operators are the ampersand sign. And when you use this sign in coding, it refers to end. The meaning of this sign means end. It means you are using the word end. Okay, we are using the word end. Then we go to this sign also, this sign also means not. This sign also means not. Then we have another sign. We have another sign, of which, let me see if I can get the sign here. Keyboard. All right. No. My neighborhood is quite noisy. Okay, so if you hear any voice in the background, I stay at the roadside, and it's unfortunate that you'll be hearing all that sound. Okay, but just focus. I'm trying to look for this. All right, I'll figure it out. Let's go and let's try an example on this. We are going to use the ampersand sign, and we will use this sign, which means not. Okay, all right. No, okay, save, no problem. Okay, so all right, we are going to write a code using logical operators. Okay, we are going to write a code using logical operators. All right, are you following my camera? Too much heat. All right, so let's start doing something with logical operators. Let's start doing something with logical operators. What you are learning here, listen to me. What you are learning here, the topics you are learning here, is the same is similar to what you'll be learning in Python. So if you understand logical operators, here in JavaScript, you understand logical operators in Java or Python. It's just like riding a BMW car and riding a Benz, or using Corolla or using Camry. The same syntax, the same format, the same brake, clutch, and everything that you use, gears. If you know how to ride a Benz car, you can ride Mercedes, you can ride BMW, you can ride Corolla. Yes, it's just like learning driving. If you learn about one car brand, you can ride the other cars, because it's the same brake, clutch, accelerator you are going to use. Okay, so just flow. That's the best way I can explain this to you. So just flow. From JavaScript, you'll be doing Python, Java, and all that. All right, so just flow. All right. Is it working? Is my screen working well? All right. So let's start using logical operators. So now what are we going to do? We are going to build a program that will write. I think that will be the last tutorial for the example for the day. Okay, we are going to build a program as a login page. When you are trying to log into a website, then when your email address or password is wrong, it will tell you that, hey, you are wrong or you are right. Okay, so let's start by declaring some var user id. Then we declare another var for what? var for password. All right, then we declare, let's use the user id. So user id is equal to prompt. The prompt here I'm going to use is also, the prompt is also a built-in JavaScript program that will pop up something on the screen. Prompt, it means prompt is like using the English language. Prompt, something should come up, you understand? So prompt will open a dialog box. And where did I get the prompt? The prompt is a built-in JavaScript program that will pop up a dialog box on our screen. So what do I want to use prompt to do? User ID is equal to prompt. What do I want prompt to do? I'm going to write what I want prompt to do. So this is how I write what I want prompt to do. Prompt user ID, prompt. Enter user ID or something like that. Yes, okay. Enter user ID. And let me, yes, we use this quotation marks and comma on our dialog box for us to get this well structured and layout dialog box. Okay, so we will use the same prompt for our password. Password here is a variable. I have told you how to declare a variable. Var is a keyword. You use var to declare the variable. Okay, so var password prompt. Enter password. All right. Good. Now we are going to use conditional statements. I have taught you conditional statement, like what we use in the if and else. So we are going to use the same if and else. Okay, this program is conditional statement. It means it's a condition, and conditional statement is the foundation of an artificial intelligence program. If you want to build an artificial intelligence to go and track someone, okay, you want to embed an artificial intelligence in a robot to go and track someone, you program the artificial intelligence in such a way that when it goes and meet something, it returns somewhere and does another thing. So that is what we are going to do. That is why I told you that JavaScript is the foundation of artificial intelligence. You can use JavaScript to build your own artificial intelligence. So let's get going. So now I'm going to give this a condition. If user ID is, remember I told you about the logical operators, the meaning of the equal to. If user ID is equal to, the equal to means what? I didn't teach equal to. I taught the ampersand sign. Okay, equal to is also a logical operator, and when you use it in your program, it means that what you are saying is equal to this. If user ID is equal to Obed, now I'm going to use the ampersand sign and all right, you remember I told you this. If user ID is equal to, let me put the comma here. If user ID is equal to Obed, is equal to Obed, and password is equal to password is equal to Cramper, and password is equal to Cramper. Is that a quotation? Yes. If user ID is equal to and password is equal to Cramper, open bracket. We have open bracket because we are going to use the conditional statement. I have told you that when we are using the if conditional statement, when you write if, then you open a bracket. So just go and search on the topic how to use if the theory on if. I'm teaching how to use the if conditional statement. So go and read about how to if conditional statement and you understand what I'm doing. Go and do the theory as I do the practicals with you. Okay, all right. So if user ID is equal to Obed and password is equal to Cramper, alert, I'm going to use the alert login valid. Login valid, else this is how to use the if statement. Okay, when you write one condition, if this is equal to this, you open a curly bracket, then when you give the condition, you close the bracket, then you come and give another condition under it. Okay, if is equal to alert, then you close the bracket here. So let me close it. You close else. So else you are giving another condition, so you open another bracket here. Okay, so let me delete this one. Else, what are we else alert. Login invalid. All right, so we are done with this program. All right, you can see our script ending tag over here. We are done with this program. Let me explain this program. When you declare a variable, you initialize it. So what I have explained here, I have used the var keyword. Var is a keyword which is used to declare a variable. So when you want to write any program in JavaScript, you have to declare a variable, and when you declare a variable, you have to initialize it. How do you initialize a variable? You use the equal to sign here, what I have used here. So user ID and password here is a variable. User ID is equal to prompt. It means when a dialog box come here, the dialog box will ask you that enter a user ID. When you enter a user ID as Obed, another dialog box will come, just as I've written the program. Another dialog box will come asking you that password, enter password. Then I have given a conditional statement here that if user ID, the user ID that you entered, if it is equal to Obed, and if the password too is equal to Cramper, that is my name, Obed Cramper. If the password is also equal to Cramper, then another dialog box should come that alert log invalid. But if your user ID is not equal to Obed and your password is not equal to cramper. The statement will print that login invalid. So we are going to save this project and run it in the Google Chrome, and you know how it works. Okay, so saved. Right, this is the last tutorial for this. The next tutorial, I'll teach you the theory aspect. This tutorial I didn't teach you the theory. The next tutorial I'll teach you the theory aspect. Okay, I'll teach you the theory aspect before we start the practicals. All right, so we have run our program. The page says enter user ID Obed, enter password Cramper. Then it will tell you, when we click on OK, it will tell us that login is valid. Login valid. Do you understand? Good. So let's run this program again. Let's refresh the page and run it. When we run it, I'll put in a different user ID that I didn't put in the code. So let's run it. I didn't put a user ID, so the name, let me put a different user ID here. Let me put a different name. User ID, I'll just write just any word. Then the password too, I'm going to just click on anything. Then I'll click login invalid. You see, so our program is working nice. And this is the last tutorial for today. We treated keywords in JavaScript. The var here is a keyword, so go and Google on keywords. Then I told you how to use a variable. The user ID here is a variable. Go and Google on what variables are. Go and do the theory. I'm doing the practical here. Okay, the user ID here is a variable. Okay, it's a variable, and I told you that when you declare a variable, you initialize it. How do you initialize a variable? I told you that when you declare a variable, you initialize it. How do you initialize a variable? You initialize a variable by using the equal to sign. The initializing a variable means that you are giving the variable value, so that anywhere we call the user ID, we know that user ID stands for Obed. Do you see the program? The program we did, user ID stands for Obed. User ID is equal to Obed. Okay, so the equal to there is also a logical operators. So go and Google on operators in JavaScript, and you will understand what I have done here. Go and Google on the theory aspect. Go and Google on keywords in JavaScript. Google on. All right, let me do it. Google. All right, Google on keywords. Google on keywords in JavaScript. Google on keywords in JavaScript. Okay. After that, Google on variables, meaning of variables. Go and do the theory. Google variables. Then Google on reserved words. Google on conditional statements. Google on logical operators. Operators in JavaScript. When you understand operators in JavaScript, you are going to understand operators in Java or Python or PHP. Because it's just like a car. If you know how to ride Corolla, you definitely know how to ride Mercedes-Benz. Just that the format in riding Mercedes-Benz will shift, but it's the same clutch, accelerator and brake. Get it in mind. Okay, yeah, maybe the gears format that will change. So go and Google on. Today we have done keywords in JavaScript. We have done operators in JavaScript. We have done variable. We have done conditional statement in JavaScript. So go and Google on conditional statement. Our next episode, I'll be teaching on other conditional statement. Then I'll be giving more conditional statements on how to build an artificial intelligence of your own personal life, your daily routine, the clothes you wear to work on Mondays, the food you eat. So when you don't eat a particular food on a certain day, or you don't wear an attire on a certain day, your artificial intelligence will prompt you. Artificial intelligence of your personal life can calculate the time you have spent in a day, the meetings you attended. Me, for instance, I'm building an artificial intelligence for that will work on a website to assist students. Okay, so that's what I'm working on. So when I finish, I will explain the code to you. I want you to understand JavaScript. JavaScript is used to is used to create dynamic web page, web page. Sorry. So JavaScript is used by Facebook. JavaScript is used by Facebook, YouTube, Google, Amazon. All the notable and famous tech companies use JavaScript. Okay, so go and learn on JavaScript. Go and do the theory. I'll be doing the practicals here, and when I use conditional statement in my practicals, you have already read about the theory, so you understand it perfect. So today we have done a lot. We have done keywords in JavaScript. We have done variables. We have done operators in JavaScript. We have done conditional statements in JavaScript. In our next episode, we will do more conditional statements. Then we will move on to arrays. Then we will do from arrays. We will do functions. Then we will move to more interactive JavaScript command, like the alert box that pop up. In our next episode, we are going to do more pop-ups, more dynamic web pages. Okay, good. And I've explained to you web development and web design. Web development is like developing a car. You build a car, and web design is like someone has built a car for you. You are just asked to come and design it. So I will teach you web development, and after web development, I will teach you how to design a website, how to do web design. Doing web design, someone has already built a car for you. So the car is WordPress. WordPress is used to design a website. So I'll teach you WordPress with Joomla. I'll teach you content management system. Okay, if you want to design a website, there's something called content management system. And designing a website, you can have your own website. Okay, you can create your own website with WordPress. But what I'm teaching here is web development. You want to write the code yourself. You want to know how to create your own website, how to build it from scratch. That is what I'm teaching you here. So I'm teaching you JavaScript. After JavaScript, I'll move to Python. All right, so we are done for today. Yes, we are done for today. Okay, we are done for today. All right, so this is the code. You can go through the code and you will understand everything. Thank you, everybody, and share, subscribe, and recommend this channel to your friend who is studying IT or who is in the computer science school. Okay, share, and I recommend this channel to students in University of Johannesburg, University of Ghana, Africa, University of Ibadan, universities in Africa, good universities. Recommend, because as we get along, I'll bring people to come and teach other networking and other stuff on this channel. All right, so this channel is the best. Recommend it to everyone. Okay, all right, so we are done for the day. We are done for the day. Going somewhere. All right.